If you did, if you did the exercise, please let me see your hands up in the comment section. So we had activities every day of the week concerning career mapping and goals. So we're to identify opportunities and learn how to navigate our professional path with purpose. Okay, so this session is on navigating challenges in your field. And we have a speaker that will be coming up very soon. Thank you. Risa says she did. She did the activities. Thank you, Risa. All right, so I'm just going to briefly introduce our speaker. And thank you, Veronica. She said she did it too. So I'm just going to briefly introduce our speaker. Hi, Tafi. Is she here already?
Yes, she's here. I can see Gunan here.
All right. Hi. Hi,
Hi.
Ngunan. Okay, so I'm going to briefly introduce her so she can take over. So, Ngunan, please bear with me. Please bear with me when I pronounce your name. Ngunan Lauren Aloho. I hope I did it well. I hope I said it well. So she's a Nigerian lawyer and a human rights advocate. She founded the Samuel Loron Foundation, SIF, as a direct response to the rising cases of child marriage and sexual exploitation of young girls in her community. So she's determined to confront these injustices at their roots. That's why she built SIF into a non-profit organization that empowers women and children in fragile and displaced contexts through education, creative expression, and access to essential services. Through her work, SIF has designed and delivered several transformative programs from literacy and digital learning hubs to grassroots-led advocacy and co-creation initiatives that equip women and girls with the tools to rebuild their lives, pursue education and livelihoods, and drive systemic change. So Ngunan holds a master's degree in comparative and international social policy. She's the campaigns manager for the Brave Movement, a global movement of survivors and allies, and an initiative of Together for Girls. She's working to end childhood sexual violence worldwide. Wow. In this role, she leads advocacy campaigns, coalition building, and global policy engagement to ensure survivor voices shape decisions at the highest levels, from the G20 to international ministerial forums. So, ladies, help me welcome Ngunan Lauren Aloha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Valerie. I'm sure I got your name correct. You pronounced Gunan actually well, so the N is silent, so it's Gunan, and then the other name is Yoron. Wow, well done. And thanks for inviting me. Okay. Do I start?
Yes, Gunan.
Yes,
I'm
please.
not. Do you have Are you able to share?
I just sent a request now.
I have accepted.
Just bear with me and I just traveled and I'm rushing back to everything. Um, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
There's something on the screen here. Okay. Good morning. And let me apologize in advance because Yes, I got the invitation for this, but I haven't planned properly on what exactly to say. So I'll be speaking a lot from the heart and the head and how it comes, because I've just been busy with the G20 and we just rounded that up now. So yeah. But again, I'm so happy to be here, especially seeing all of the numbers. Like, I'm so happy we'll have a lot of young people who desire change, who desire growth, and want all this journey together, ensuring that we do better and we'll have better access to opportunities. So that alone gives me great joy. And I'm very hopeful that just basically sharing from my experience alone will be helpful rather than sharing in a very formal way. So this is going to be very, very informal, and I'm going to be asking questions as well, hoping that this is as interactive as it can be. And then if you have any questions or you want to get my thought on any of the things I would say or have said, please call my attention to that. Don't wait until the end to have your questions answered. And you can also share your own experiences. So we're able to like leverage some of those things you share and then see how you're better able to assess like the goal setting that we want to talk about as well. So yes, as Valerie had already shared, I am Ngunan Aloha, and I am a Nigerian trained lawyer, and I currently work with the Brave Movement as the campaigns manager. And my pleasure to say I met Taofik when I was at the One campaign as a campaigns manager as well. And I'm so happy because all of these networks are like some of the different places that bring us together. So I'm just going to be sharing a bit about what professional landscapes looks like now on the career mapping topic that we're on today, how we can all navigate that, and then what are some of the ways we can ensure we achieve our career aspirations. So I'm not going to be sharing a lot of the things from textbook. I'm going to be sharing basically from my own personal experiences and those who have been around me as well, with some of the experiences they have, some of the barriers that we can see coming in so many ways. And then what are some of those things that you can do that would actually help you set yourself up in a way that is your career is better achievable? Because I won't say achieving your career aspirations and all, because sometimes they're really, really high and a lot of blockages can come in. But with all of the things we'll be speaking about now, some of which you probably would be going through, or some of the skills that you already have, you're able to find ways to actually navigate that. So, before I get into about myself, because a lot of the things I'll say about myself would tie into the navigation, would tie into why I studied law, why I'm a project manager, why the campaigns manager role, and some of all of that. So, I want to start with the professional landscape just to give us an understanding of what the workspace looks like now and how we can all then start applying some of those things into our practical lives. So with a professional workspace, basically, this is in different ways. So what for me I've noticed and I've read about is basically that with what's happening now, and especially for young girls, young people like myself, you 25 to 35, things have changed in subsequent years, things have changed in recent times, and in a way, they've changed for the better. Because a lot of the things we're experiencing now, and a lot of the assets that we have now, a lot of those opportunities were not opportunities that the women before us had. They were fighting for those assets and the opportunities. And now we have assets that people don't have. We have people who push us to greatness, who have opportunities like this, networking. We have leadership trainings. So we have access to a lot of things that basically shape us and can really help us to prepare for what the landscape is right now. And with what's happening now, we see multi-sectoral careers are the norm now, people doing and navigating different jobs at the same time. We have things in the tech sector, engineering, we have in the creative industries. A lot of different roles are coming up. So now you can just have a skill and maybe is even public speaking, and that is something that you can make a career out of. So whatever it is you're doing, basically, you're able to make something out of it. If it's makeup, if it's just maybe nail technician, those are things that are so lucrative and even more lucrative now than they were in the past. So you have access to doing different things. Another thing with the way the landscape also is skills. I think in a way, skills have always been more important than titles. But in the past, you will see that basically your title is what makes people respect you. But now that's not the case. It's your skills. Your skills are more valuable. It doesn't matter all of the certifications that you have or the certificates or the learning programs that you've gone to. When people look at your CV, what people want to see is what skills does this person have? And the skills is not just about, oh, this person is a tech person because a lot of us these days, that's the only thing that is important. Like, is this person in tech? Does this person know how to build a website? Does this person know how to do this? But the professional landscape is wider than that now, which means that every skill is valuable. Like I said earlier, whether you're a nail technician, whether you're a writer, there's so many things that you're able to do. And some of these skills, sometimes they come in like the technical skills that you have, the soft skills that you have, even the leadership skills that you have are some of the things that put you out there. In the space that I'm really focused on, which is the development sector, a lot of times what I also see people really doing so well from is the leadership skills. What are your organizational skills? What's like your people management skills? How are you able to lead a group of people? Or even in just the space that you are, like attending sections on time. Those are things that people look out for. If you have so many interviews, you're attending programs and all of that, what sets you apart from other people sometimes could just be the difference that you attend meetings at the very start of it, different from how somebody else attends. It can also be how diligent you are doing something. People like people who are consistent, people like people who are organized, people who are determined, people who they can rely on. So even your reliability skills are some of the things that can set you apart from other people. And these are like some of the things that we neglect because we don't think they're important. So when we talk about skills in a professional space, every single time we're talking about, and this is conversation I've had with a lot of young people where they'll be like, "Oh, I'm still trying to finish this course I'm doing on Coursera. I'm still trying to finish this one. I'm like, what do you know how to do right now? What skills do you have? Like, talk to me about the things that you can do without someone asking you to do. What is your push? What is your time management like? When you're managing time, when somebody asks you to do something, no matter how small it is, what is that diligence you're putting into it to ensure that you deliver that particular thing or you give people updates as well? And some of these things, again, you see how I exhibit some of this and how that has shown up in my own workspace. So skills are much more valuable than the titles because no matter what titles you have, no matter what degree you have, I'm a lawyer, for example, but I don't practice, right? I'm doing something completely different from law. In fact, in a way, it ties to what I do in law, but I haven't been in court for years. I can't even remember the last time I was in a courtroom. If I need to go to a courtroom now, I probably feel like I'll need to have to reread a lot of the books that I studied back in school. So a lot of the things that you probably do in school, they kind of like tie into what you do in future, but they don't directly sometimes impact it. So you want to also be able to see what are those different things that people are doing now. You see, HRs, every person who is a HR is not somebody who studied human resources. Every person who is doing maybe is in politics or even policy advocacy is not somebody who actually has a degree in social policy. I have a degree in social policy, but if I didn't have a degree in social policy, I probably still be doing what I'm doing now because of the other skills that I have. So what you do in school is helpful and it kind of like provides you that landing space that you need, but it's not the ultimate, which means you have to on your own develop certain skills. And a lot of time, these skills are not things that are taught in schools. You have to learn them in the practical social world of things, in the way that you make friends, in the way that you network, in the events that you attend, in the ways that you do your house chores, in the way that you communicate with your friends or you communicate with your superiors. All of those things kind of like groom you into having some of the skills that are needed for the present day of work. And some of the things we say in this again is STEM. So STEM is a very globally acclaimed kind of like field now where people are succeeding in a lot, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are places where we have a lot of high earners. And a lot of women are studying STEM now, but we still are so much underrepresented in it because a lot of women are not doing things science related, or even if they do, mostly we see women in healthcare or nursing are not really the kind of like roles or positions where we start comparing our pay with men on average. And then we also see that with how the landscape is, gender barriers still exist. And this is something that we've seen also reduced in a certain way because now there's more reports about it. We didn't know about it in the past. A lot of women were fighting for us to have access to so many of the things we have now. But this gender barriers still exist. And some of them show up in different ways. Some of the ways are that on average, men can still be earning higher than women, even in the same field, even if you're doing the same work with a woman. And in the past, I volunteered with an organization called the Young Women Trust, which is really just focused on ensuring that women have the same pay as men. And some of the things I learned from that experience were basically that some of the things why women earn less than men. Sometimes it's not even just about your work experience. Sometimes it has to do with like some of the work that women take that are unpaid because a lot of times in families is the women who are like supporting in their homes, you like childbearing age, and that is the age that we're at now, where it's like the childbearing age. So you have to take break from work because you have to support your families. And then some workspaces actually, when they see that you're a young woman, maybe recently married and all of that, they're actually scared to employ you or put you in those very high level positions because they feel like 2 to 3 years, give or take, she's going to be pregnant, she's going to need to stay home, she's going to go on maternity leave. So some people would rather not invest in you or take that risk because they feel like they rather invest that in a man who they feel wouldn't go on the maternity or paternity leave. So some of those things play out. And then you also see that a lot of times as well, it has to do with negotiation skills. And like I said, these are skills that sometimes naturally we have, but these are things that we're also seeing in the professional workspace now. Women sometimes don't have that bargaining or negotiation skills the way men do. Or sometimes we do have them, but we're scared to actually demand for something that we want. Case in point, I had actually been in a role in the past where I was the only woman, and I was just so happy to actually, because I was approached for that particular role, I didn't have to interview or do anything. So I felt privileged about that particular role. I think we're about four, we're five in total. So there were four men, and I was the only woman. And I was the one who was going to project manage that particular project. It was a 2 year project. I was supposed to project manage it. And at first, I saw the amount of money that was going to be paid, and I was just so happy because that was the first time in my life I was going to be earning that amount. On a second look, when I looked at it, I saw that all of the men on the list were actually earning more than me, but I was going to be on field doing all of the work. But I was scared, of course, because I'm like, oh, if I call this out or say anything, they'll probably not even give me the role anymore. So let me just do it. After I've never ever earned this kind of amount even. So it's still like a top up for me. And I did that role. And it took me volunteering with this organization, being in a certain level in my workspace and everything for me to actually call that what it was, for me to reach back out and be like, oh, this is what had happened. So some persons are trying to whiteboard and write on the screen now. I don't know who is trying to annotate, but okay. Yeah. So I know I was like, I wanted to ask a question. We had done this job. I had the most asked to work on this job. Why was I the lowest paid? And do you know what this person said to me? The person who was the lead. He was like, to be honest, Gunan, I didn't know that you were going to be able to walk the way that you did. We didn't know you would be able to deliver in this way. So this sometimes again are the biases that people have around women that a woman won't be able to deliver or produce as much as a man. So regardless of how much I had more hours or I was going to be doing the bulk of the work and the thinking and everything, they still felt like I should aim lower than all of the men. And it had to be me calling this abuse out before I got like the apology. And well, the person promised, and they were like, oh, in future, Ngunan, I'll make sure that you get better. And for me, that was a good experience because I had that conversation and I was able to get kind of like that closure with the promise of doing better, which the person has done actually. But if that was something I didn't call out, maybe next time it will still happen the same. So sometimes the reason why we're in lower than people who are like have the same experiences we are doing the same level of work is because we're quiet. We're not able to talk about it because we're scared of the opportunity being taken out from us. And I had to grow to the point where if something wasn't okay for me, I could try my best to actually move away from it. And in truth, that's a privilege because a lot of times we'll be going through things or we'll be at a place in our lifetimes that we can actually just reject an opportunity because the pay is not what we're expecting. Because sometimes you want to do things in the interim, so you would be able to like just take anything. But these gender barriers, they exist. So you just need to know that they exist and then know how you can navigate them. But navigating them also means just trying to let the person know that, oh, I'm going to be doing this job. I'm going to be doing so, so, and so hours. I see that this person has the same experience like me, and the person won't be putting in as much hours. Can you also up my pay to be on the same level with this person or to be even above this person since I have more hours? So you speak to them and you don't speak to them like in a harsh tone or you don't come in a way where you set the person off. You just come to them in a way to negotiate. Negotiation has to do with a lot. You're calm in negotiating. In negotiating, you want to allow the person to also see your own perspective, why it is important for them to keep you, but why it's also important for them to invest that much in you. So by the time you call, maybe in an aggressive manner, and you're trying to say, oh, if you don't increase this so and so way, I'm not able to do whatever it is that you want, or I won't do it in annoyance. That also hampers your future opportunities because maybe that relationship is broken. Some people, because of how powerful they are, they can also talk to other people who then are able to influence your ability to even get something else. So, negotiation, when we say negotiation, there's something called the art of negotiation, and there's also a book about that. So, there are different ways that you have to try to negotiate, and you do it in a very subtle, kind way, in a way that the person sees your point. And at the end of the day, make them even feel like you're not the one who is actually asking for the rise or for that better treatment. They are the ones actually giving it to you because you've made them to see how important you are and what you're also bringing in. And then a lot of times, again, we get to work in informal jobs, a lot of informal jobs that are low paid. And this has to do with, I think, the way that sometimes maybe as society, the norms that we've grown up knowing, we don't believe that we need something better or we can actually do better or we're desiring or even capable of actually doing certain things. So we see some criterias on the job and we feel like, oh, I don't think I can do that. So we already reject ourselves from roles that we haven't even applied for, that the person hasn't rejected us for. We self-reject. And because of that, we don't downgrow because we're always looking for, and this is not to say anything bad, I'm trying to be careful here as well, but you see that a lot of times we like to apply for roles that are secretary, PA, assistant. If you see anything, you always want to look for the one where you feel there's a likelihood of you getting it. But the way the world works now is if a man sees a job, he sees a role, he's probably going to apply for the one where there's higher pay, regardless of what the criterias are. He's not going to look at the fact that he's incapable of doing that. He's not going to find that limit within himself. He's going to push, he's going to make those applications. By the time he comes for that interview, he's going to portray himself as the best candidate possible. He's not going to be doing that from a place of, oh, I don't have this skill, but in case you can hire me. You sell yourself out. So those are like some of the things that also hamper us and the gender barriers that exist in it, the confidence that naturally men already have, and they can pull themselves out there. Whilst we women, we try to talk down on ourselves and say, oh, I don't think I'm capable of doing this role, they would reject me and all of that. To be honest, I feel for me, again, maybe it's the privilege or something, but I know that I've never seen a role where I felt like, oh, I don't think I'm capable of doing this. I always feel like I can learn on the job. I always feel like, well, like if they give me this role, I can read about it. I can learn some of the skills that they're asking, and then I can see how I would practically do some of those things. Because one of the ways that I've been able to leverage some of the things that I've learned from people or opportunities and networking is I can try to do anything because in a way I've always done that particular thing. And you understand why in the moment when I start talking about myself. And then again, a lot of women are caught up in unpaid roles. We touched on this a bit, but like childbearing, domestic work, and all of that, there are a lot of unpaid roles that women get to do. And because of those unpaid roles, a lot of times you see that even in families, women are not able to maybe work the full time that some men do because they have to pick the kids from school, they have to clean the house, they have to take care of their aging parents, they have to do this, they have to do that. A lot of men are not in this unpaid roles. So it is then easier for men to make the bulk of the money. It's easier for them to go out there to pull themselves out there because you, a woman, by the time you're actually even negotiating that you want this job or you're going for an interview, you're actually thinking a lot. Ha, when will I pick my child? Oh, I have to close so time because I have to cook. A man is not going on the negotiation table thinking when he has to close from work to go home to cook. And this is not something that happens in all homes or in all families, but globally, this is the scenario that we found ourselves in. That is mostly the women who are thinking of all of these different other roles that they handle besides like the actual workforce. And men don't actually have to deal with some of those things, so they don't think about them. If we even look at you being in your parents' house sometimes, you're the one who probably is cleaning the house, who is cooking, who is doing all of those things. You have to be back at a certain time. Even while you're in school, you have to be back at a certain time. No matter when you come back, you have to cook, you have to clean. So there are some times you even miss classes. Let's be honest. There are some times that you take break from work to come home, and this is something I've seen happen as well because I had someone who during break time we had break from 12 a.m. from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. 1 p.m. and she normally takes those breaks. She'll rush back home to prepare food for her family before she comes back. I'm not sugarcoating. This is like a real life experience of my work. So we have some of these scenarios pop out. And for a guy, he's not taking that break. So sometimes if you're in certain workplaces where people want you to be like very high valued or want you to be doing certain things, they probably won't want to employ you in that role because they'll feel like this time that this person will be doing this, we'd rather this person do this. So those are some of the things that happen in that as well. Some of these other gender barriers, obviously, with everything we've mentioned, it leads to less accumulated wealth. So men have more wealth. They are being able to save, they're being able to do a lot of things. For the women, again, because you're doing all of these things, what we're seeing happen there is you're using those amounts of monies that you have and all of that to maybe take care of the family. You're chesting like different responsibilities in the home. You don't even work full time sometimes to be able to like get the amount of money that a man has. So because of that, you have less wealth compared to men. And these are things that you're able to like see in the professional workspace as well. So you're working so hard, you're doing everything right, you're doing all the things that you need to do, but you're seeing that you're also not really climbing high up there the way that you should. And this also shows up in like promotion at work, just like what we said about on average, a lot of women, by the time you get to a certain age, you have to maybe take permission because you need 1 year to take care of the family, to take care of your kids. A man is getting promoted at that time. So some people won't also want to promote you to that very high level because they know that at some point, for 1 year, for 2 years, or for 6 months, you're going to need to be off you doing one thing or the other. So they rather promote a man who they're sure of and they believe that is going to stay up through than to promote you. We also see networking. Professional workspace now is networking, right? We're in a space now where a lot of times it's not just about you applying to jobs, it's about the people that you know, it's about the spaces that you belong in, spaces like this that you've been provided for. So you meet a lot of people in these spaces where somebody is able to see some of the skills that you have, the person recommends you for a job. And you don't need to go for any interview, you don't even need to put in an application. Sometimes it's word of mouth. Those are what networking does for you. And not just about that, but that because of the spaces that you also belong in, you have access to maybe WhatsApp groups, other places of communication, digital spaces where people are sharing opportunities that you otherwise not even see on LinkedIn, that you'll not see on social media. But you're able to see this because of the spaces that you belong in. And case in point, the role that I currently have now, it was actually Taofi who actually sent that to me when I started job hunting again. And she was like, "Oh, Gunan, I saw this and I felt like this actually fits what you do. Apply for this." So it was actually when she sent it to me that I started seeing the role everywhere. But at first, I didn't even know that role was existing or it was being published. But because she shared it with me, I was able to assess that opportunity. So these are some of the things that access does to you. The people that you know, they have access to different opportunities. They can see things that sometimes you're not in the space where you see them. And that is so important. And when we go into like the main discussion as well, you see me consistently repeat this networking because this is like the it of it now when it comes to the professional landscape. And this is something I want everyone to be able to hold on to. Now, when we come to global opportunities, again, you see there's the remote work happening now. There are like fellowship, leadership opportunities where you're able to like do so much. So these are opportunities that no matter where you are, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're in Ghana, wherever it is, you're able to be working for an organization that is based in the US, that is based in the UK, that is based in anywhere at all. And then we'll have push and access. So when I talk about push and access, in a way, it's still related to networking, but in a more in-depth way. So it's like what we talk about mentoring. You have someone who holds your hand, like your accountability partner, somebody who is able to push you. And that is something I can genuinely say. Growing up, I didn't have that. Now I feel like a lot of young people have access to push and access that we normally didn't have when we were growing up. And this push and access is one of the ways that you can actually set yourself up and navigate some of these hurdles that we've spoken about here as well. Somebody giving you tips on how to, oh, this is a problem that you have. How can you navigate this? Oh, have you applied to this opportunity? So somebody's checking in on you to see that you've actually made the application. They're able to like review your CV for you. Those are the push and access that we have now that wasn't existing before. And these are some of the things that I really love for young people to actually take really serious. Because if you have someone who is pushing and who is trying to like, oh, do better, do all of that, it's so important for you to be able to take the opportunity and to be able to do better with it. Because when people are consistently pushing you as well, they get tired when they see that you're not actually using those opportunities that you should use. Now about me. So I use this picture here because this is a picture of me on field with one of the recent campaigns that we also just launched. And I feel like that picture kind of like captures everything that it is about me because I love to work. I love working. I enjoy working. And because of that, I always give my all to whatever it is I'm doing. Again, just tying back to what I said previously about the skills that we have in the world of now, that some of the skills that sometimes will get you employed and keep you in the role is not the skills you expect. Sometimes it's about how you do things, about your ability to maybe navigate certain situation, how flexible you are, maybe how determined you are, how passionate you are about something. So when you put all of your energy into doing something, no matter how small it is, once you've done that, people are able to trust you with even bigger opportunities. But when somebody gives you something and you feel like, oh, this thing is too small and you don't treat it like with the utmost respect that you should, or you don't give your all to it, you see that it hampers or dampers kind of like your progress in being more successful in that field as well. Because people will just feel like if I've given her something this little and she wasn't able to deliver, why give her something more? So instead of giving you something more, they even take the little that they've already given to you, and then that affects how you get even promoted at work or how people even call you for other opportunities. If, for example, someone is always sending me opportunities to apply for opportunities and I never give them updates, I'm applying maybe, but I'm not saying anything to them. I just keep receiving all the opportunities. Now, maybe I'll be like, oh, thank you, thank you. But they never hear from me if I'm assessing those opportunities. There will come a time when that person will stop sending those opportunities with me because there's no feedback. They don't know if this is something that I'm assessing, if I'm using, and they feel like it's a waste of their time and they can stop communicating with you. But if somebody's sending you opportunities and you're like, oh, thank you for sending this to me, I've actually applied to it, and you give an update, oh, they actually called me for an interview, oh, I've gotten this job, oh, I got this fellowship, the person knows to continue doing something to you because they know that you're somebody who gives feedback. You're somebody who actually, if somebody sends something to you, you actually do that. And you're not waiting for them to come and ask you, oh, this thing I sent to you last 2 weeks, did you actually apply for it? No. You're the one who has that push now. They've pushed you. You're the one who is doing now the work. So this comes to some of the personal values I have that really help me. Purpose, gratitude, respect to self, accountability, drive, curiosity, and credibility. So these are the things that actually push me and have kept me where I am presently. So purpose is I never do anything that I don't want to do. I want my life to be a life of purposefulness. So I always want to look for purpose in what can I do that would actually ensure that I'm living my biggest fulfillment. I'm living the way that I want. I'm living with the God-given talent and purpose that God has given me as well. So that has always been my dream. And for me, one of those things was I wanted to be a human rights lawyer because I wanted to fight for people's rights. I was so interested, and because of so many things that I saw growing up as well, with child marriage, with in like just basically a lot of inequalities that were happening around the girl child specifically. I felt like if I'm a human rights lawyer, I'll be able to stand in for girls, I'll be able to defend them in court. And that was what like prepared me to read law. And after that, I saw that, oh, okay, you know what? I actually don't want to be in the court. There are different ways that I can actually use my law degree, but maybe not being caught doing like criminal law. I was so interested in criminal law, but growing up, so many things there happening, and I felt like, oh, okay, there's now a shift. So how about I do that with the organization, like build a platform where I can support girls, ensure that their voices are platform. And that was when I started my nonprofit. I started my nonprofit back when I was in the university. So I just started with like small events. I would have friends together, we'll join our monies together even, and we'll do like a small event where we're talking to young girls about rape, we're talking to girls about holding themselves accountable, we're kind of like gathering money together, buying sanitary pad and distributing to girls. There was no real vision or mission of what I was doing. It was just a platform to kind of like bring the voices of women around on things that were happening and let people understand these things and see how we can support people. And then subsequently, as I kept growing and learning what all of these things were, that's how I understood project management, like organization, structure, ensuring that you put things in place and you're doing things the right way. Because sometimes you could have good intentions of doing something, but your good intentions are not always good, or they can lead to some other negative impact. So being a project manager was then now starting to help me see that I can have good intentions for something, but it doesn't always mean that the good intention I have will make that particular thing to be good. So I can design a project, but if I don't design it with the people that I'm working with, it can actually go wrong, or I can actually cause them more harm than good, even though in my own mind I think that I'm doing the right thing. So now, I didn't go to any school to learn project management, right? These were just things I was doing on my own because I felt like these are things I would do. I didn't even know that there was anything called project management at the time. Like, I didn't put a name to whatever it is I was doing. For me, I was just up and there trying to put things together, like how you do event planning, basically. And if you're a good event planner, trust me, you'll be a good project manager because event planners do a lot of putting things in place. That's organization. A lot of what you do with project management is communication, is organizing, is leading, is ensuring that you're bringing people in, you're collaborating with others. So by the time you start exhibiting some of these skills, you see that you don't even need to get a certification. You don't need to go to a school to go and learn 1 year project management before you can say, oh, I have project management skills. Is the everyday thing you do even at home. Like, how are you arranging the house? How are you, if a problem comes up at home, how are you solving that particular problem? Because again, project management has to do a lot with problem solving. If things come up, how are you navigating? You're being flexible enough to say, oh, this happened like this, let me do it this way. So the whole part of risk assessment. Oh, I got admission. I applied for this course, but I didn't get admission for this particular one. This particular one came out. You're able to now sit and assess. Though I didn't get admission for this row and I got in this row, is there a way for me to still go into this row and still come up with something that I wanted? Or maybe I needed 100,000 to do a particular thing and I don't have 100,000. I got only 20,000. How am I able to use 20,000 to do a little bit of maybe what I had planned? So you being able to navigate all of those things, you see now that project management skills are coming in. And let me tell you, project management is one of the it skills in the time of now. Once you have project management skills, you can do almost anything. You can be a human resource person, you can be an IT manager, you can be anything at all because it's those things you have, being organized, being able to manage time, being able to do all of those things all together are the things that sum up you being a project manager. So every single thing I've done and I've been doing kind of like came through project managing, right? So my current role as a campaigns manager, I didn't go anywhere to go and learn campaigns management or anything in particular. It was me also understanding leadership, understanding people's management. How can I build better relationship with people? And some of you, you're natural relationship builders. You know how to strike a conversation with somebody and then just get them to be your friends. They're ready to tell you and open up and tell you all of their life secrets, right? Those are skills. That's like people management skills. That's relationship building skills. And all of those skills, by the time you put it together, you know that you know how to plan, you know how to put an event together, you know how to share information to people, to articulate yourself and communicate properly. You can be a campaigns manager. You can be a whatever manager that they want to put into it because it's the project management of all of those things that helps you to be able to design something and then deliver on it. So all of those things kind of like ties then into the personal values that I have because I have that purpose of what it is I want to do. And all of the roles that I've done has still kind of like included, I want a better space and environment for young girls. I want better opportunities for young girls. So every single thing I've done has kind of like trickled down to all of that. And then gratitude. I have gratitude. And this is something that again goes to the push and access that I spoke about. You see that I'm mentioning some things consistently. I know I told Taufik that I was going to do a 20-minute presentation, and I'm seeing now that even the time that we have now is not even enough because I haven't even scratched the surface of what we're discussing. So bear with me, and I can't see some of the messages on chat. I'm not looking at my phone right now. So if Taufik, you want to call my attention, or Valerie, please, you can just speak over me and yeah. So gratitude is something that I really have, and it ties to push and access. So when somebody sends me opportunities, I'm reaching back to them. When someone does something for me, I'm thankful for it, and I want them to know that I'm thankful for it. You know what that does? It opens more doors for you. And this is something that I've learned growing up. It's not something I learned a year ago or 2 years ago. I've been someone who has always been grateful, and I've seen that that has worked really, really well. When I was growing up, I wasn't doing it as I wanted to like climb the ladder or anything. It was just that I feel if people go out of their way to do something for me, I want to be thankful. And I'm also somebody who, if you do something for me in honest, I actually almost feel like I'm indebted to you, like I'm owing you something, and I'm always looking for the next way to repay you back. So, you being someone who is grateful, when you give somebody 5,000, 1,000, and the person is coming back and be like, oh, thank you so much. I was able to do this, that, that. You're not even looking for the things, you're not looking for any of those things, but somebody just being able to be thankful for the opportunities that you've shared for them, for the space that they are in, is enough to open opportunities. And even in your workplace, maybe with your colleagues, with the people that you're working with, the fact that you're a grateful person makes people want to work more with you. And these are some of the things that will just make somebody want to even give you an opportunity that someone who is even more skilled than you would not even get. Another thing is respect to self. So you respect yourself enough that when you make promises to yourself, you actually want to keep those promises. It's not the one you say, tomorrow I actually want to start doing this, this, that, that. By next week, I'm going to apply to two schools. I want to study this particular course. What are you doing to actually study that course you want to study? What are you doing to move to that space that you want to? You have a course or maybe even Coursera that has been sitting there for 5 months that you've always told yourself the next week you're going to complete it, the next week you're going to complete it. And every week you push it to the next week. So you're procrastinating on all those things. It means that you're not respectful to yourself. And if you're not respectful to yourself, it probably means you also not be respectful to others. So when you make promises to yourself, no matter how small those promises are, keep them. If you tell yourself you want to eat 2 times in a day, try to stick to it. Like, make promises to yourself and actually follow up on them. And then you see that you're somebody people can actually rely on. So when you respect yourself and you make promises that you fulfill, that is how people see you. You're somebody who becomes reliable. People know that if I actually tell Ngunan to do this particular thing, she's going to do it. No matter the obstacles that will come her way, she will try as much as possible. And if she's not able to do it, she would communicate. So sometimes things happen. Everybody's going through things in life. So sometimes we make promises that at the end of the day we can't even fulfill again, or we try to plan things with friends, and at the end of the day we can't go even for those. Maybe it's weddings, maybe it's birthday parties or conferences. Some things happen, but being able to communicate that decision and say, oh, you know what, this is what is happening now, or this is what is looking like. I might not be able to do this the way I had planned to do. That communication alone shows respect. It shows that reliability. So next time the person will still come to you because they know that this person, once she starts to do something, actually, she will do it. And when I say respect to self, it also comes in the way you see. One of the problems we have, and I forgot to say in our professional landscape, is women do not always have access to credit. Women don't have access to borrowing money from the banks and all of that. But in the world of now, we have spaces where at least we can borrow from our communities. You can borrow from your friends. You can borrow from people around you. Being respectful to yourself, being someone who is accountable, being someone who people can rely on, also then shows up in how you're repaying your debt. You're not somebody that if somebody borrows you money, for example, you come today and you want somebody to borrow money to you, and you cry, you say all the problems that you have, and they're like, oh my God, I'll borrow you this money, and they borrow the money for you. 2 weeks that you said you were going to pay back, you already know that in 2 weeks time you might not have this money. 1 week later, you're probably thinking, I'm not going to have this money. But instead of you to reach out to this person to say, you know what, this money you borrowed me, I know I promised I was going to pay back in 2 weeks. This is the current state of things. I might not be able to pay within that 2 weeks. Are you okay extending this for me? Or are you okay taking this little that I have and then I will pay the rest later? That communication is going to help. Next time, if you come for that person to borrow you, they'll still borrow you that money because they know that this is somebody that is trustworthy. This is somebody that is debt worthy. Like if they say something, they're going to actually follow up on it. But if I borrow your money, for example, 2 weeks time, you don't tell me anything, then I reach out to you, I'm like, this money I borrowed you, can you please help me with it back? And then that's when you now start telling the person that, you know what? Okay, I'm trying to collect the money back. I would see what I would do. And then you keep shifting and moving and moving and moving. And then you guys even become enemies because in the time where this person is trying to get this money back from you, do you know what you've made that person into? The person becomes the person who is the borrower because the person is chasing you as though they are the one that is you who is, is them that is even owing you. That's how you make the person feel. And I've had these personal experiences as well. There are people I know I will never borrow money to. If you ask me for money, I know that I'm dashing you if I have it because I know that you will probably never pay me back. I will not trust your word because you're not somebody who values or even trusts your own self. You're not somebody who respects your own self. So you are not credible, you're not accountable. So I would not be able to trust you to that. Another thing is just being accountable. When you make mistake, own up to it. Things go wrong every time. The things that we set out to do are sometimes they don't always again happen the way that we want to. But you being able to say, I planned for this to be this way, but it didn't happen like that. I'm sorry. I see where my own mistake is and I take accountability for it. This is what I can do next time. But instead of you being accountable, you now say, it's not, I did this because you did this. So that's you deflecting. You're putting blame for other people. People wouldn't necessarily want to work with that kind of person because they feel like this person will always find an excuse. They can never take responsibility for something. And which means if somebody gives you access to design a project or to deliver a project or to work as a manager of a bank, if anything happens, you're going to blame every other person but yourself. So people wouldn't want to work with that kind of person. Another thing is drive and curiosity. So these two things are some of the thing, every single thing I've said here. If you forget it, don't forget drive and curiosity. If you forget it, don't forget these two. Because with purpose, it should be natural. Gratitude should come natural. Respecting yourself should be natural. But you see, drive and curiosity, it again ties to push and access. If you don't have drive and curiosity, it does not matter how somebody pushes you, it does not matter the opportunity that people have shared with you will not do it. You need to have curiosity enough to research. If somebody gives you an opportunity, you are not coming back to be asking the person all the question. Oh, where will I find this thing? Oh, where is this thing stated? No, the person have shared it to you. Can you do a little background search yourself? Can you go on Google and type this out and search for what it is? This person has tried doing something for you. Or you've even gone to a networking event where they mentioned something. Afterwards, be curious enough to go and learn even more on that thing that that person have spoken about. Because sometimes once you just leave a particular space where something has been said, you discover that in a year you've attended 20 different sections, 20 leaderships, you've done trainings everywhere, and nothing is happening. It's because you take all of those things in, but when you leave, you're not reflecting on it. You're not doing any practical work on it. You just take it, you write, and that is it. And this is not calling out on anybody, right? Like, I take notes a lot, right? But when you write, do you actually go back and open those books and reread the things that you've written? Because I know when I was also growing up, I was doing this thing where I would write a lot and then I won't go back to it. And then one time I'm like, all these things I've been writing, I actually don't need to keep attending sections. Like the ones that I've written in the past, have I actually looked at them again? And then I go back and I look at them, I'm like, oh wow. But if I had looked at them immediately when I did, like after those sections, I would have even gotten even better knowledge from it. And if I had researched for it. So curiosity and drive are important things. And you know these two things, I'm saying them because they are not things that anybody will teach you. Nobody is going to teach you how to be a curious person. Nobody is going to give you drive. Drive and curiosity are things that you grow yourself. And you grow it because of how desperate you want to be better. You grow it because of how much you want to do well with yourself. But if you're not curious and you're not driven, I'm not lying to you. Like, if I send you 100 opportunities, trust me, you will do nothing with those 100 opportunities if you do not have the drive and the curiosity to actually pursue those things. And the other thing is, all of the things we've spoken about is hard work. So you being elevated, you going into like a higher landscape, you achieving all of your careers. Some of the things that will actually put you ahead of other people is that drive and that curiosity. You want to be able to assess the opportunity. You want to be able to do the work that you actually need to do to be able to assess it. So it's one thing for somebody sending you opportunities or you even finding the opportunities. You can even be saving the opportunities on the tracker. But if you're not applying for it, the organization will not go and come somewhere and come and say, Ngunan, I saw that you wrote this thing on your spreadsheet that you were going to apply for it, or we want to give it to you. If you've not applied for it, it will not magically happen. And the way the world works is a numbers game. That's what we keep saying. In a year, you see a lot of the people that are posting all of the opportunities that they get, a lot of times they've applied for 120 to get two. In a year, you don't want to know the amount of rejections I get from applications that I make, whether from fellowship, from leadership opportunities, from jobs. We get a lot of rejections. But the thing is, we also do a lot of applying. If you don't apply a lot, you will not even be able to get those rejections. Getting rejection should not be the thing that will damper you and be like, oh my God, I'm giving up, I'm getting rejections. The best person would get rejections. I've gotten access to opportunities that I felt some of my friends were far, far more qualified than me, but I got it and they did not get it. That should tell you everything you need to know. Chance happens to you. Grace is also there. But sometimes the organization is also looking for something beyond that qualification that your friend has that you feel, oh, this qualification my friend has is bigger than mine. There's something else that is telling about you that they want, that this other person who you feel, when it comes to certifications, when it comes to maybe the academics, even your grades, a first class person, like somebody has a first class, somebody who has a third class or a 2-1 or a 2-2 even, might get a scholarship that a first class person did not get, but they both apply to it. Because there are other things that this person has that this first class person does not have. Sometimes your volunteering works that you've done in the communities, the things that you know just from personal experiences, some of those things set you apart. But you see, all these things I'm saying, they're still tied to drive and curiosity. If you don't have it, you'll not even have the patience to apply to 100 jobs. And this applying to 100 jobs is not so just about applying, is that you're applying for each of them diligently. You're ensuring that your CV matches to what they are saying, your personal statement, all the things, the questions that they are asking, you're answering them rightly. You're not doing, I'm tired, let me just submit this application and be done with. You will submit it and you will not get it. And your chances has not increased because you submitted it. You have to submit it, but you have to have done your best in ensuring that you put out the best application possible. Because for every single application you're making, there are 1,000,001 people who are applying to that same opportunity. Why should you be selected over those other people? And every day, don't you see people getting selected? People are selected. People you're conversing with every day are selected for those opportunities. The difference in the time they put in some of those opportunities, they are reaching out to people. Can you look at this thing I've written? Because sometimes you feel like you've done the best that you can. Somebody else will read something you've written 2 days later. They will see all the mistakes you've made that you yourself you couldn't pinpoint. Sometimes even yourself, you can write a very good application, right? And then step 2 to 3 days and go and read the application back. You see all the mistakes that you also made. Because at the time where you're writing, you won't really be able to see all of the mistakes that you've made. It's afterwards when you've rested, when you're calm, when you're not in the spirit of that particular thing you've written, when you go back to it, you'll be able to catch your mistakes. So being very diligent in how you prepare for your application, doing the numbers game work is what is going to elevate you and put you far ahead of your other peers. Like if it's job that you want, if it's fellowship access that you want, if you want to travel to different places, meet people in different parts of the world, apply, apply, apply. Search for those opportunities, read about them, check the eligibility, check what the criteria are, and try to ensure that you fit into them. And even for those you feel you don't qualify for, apply for it anyways. You remember we said the reason why a lot of times men on average make more than we do is because they don't self-reject themselves. So don't self-reject yourself. Whether you feel you're qualified or not, still try and apply for it and then see how it goes. Now, career mapping and alignment. So some of the things that you want to also then look at, we've spoken about purpose, we've spoken about a lot of all those things. So your personal values are the things that will then help you to start doing what your actual career mapping is and your alignment. Who are you at the core of things? What kind of person are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want to achieve in life? Because again, sometimes we keep saying, oh, do this, do that, but not everybody wants to be attending BB conferences and speaking at UN events or jumping planes up and down. Not everybody wants to even travel the world. Everybody has what it is that they want, and it's okay. But know yourself at the core of things. So you're able to pick and select what these people are. If people are even advising you, you know what to take from that advice. You know what to leave out because you know yourself from the core of things. You know what your personal values are. You know what your purpose is. You know where you want to get at. So knowing already where you want to be, that is the end, right? Knowing is how we talk about God. God knows the end from the beginning. So because he knows the end already, there are certain opportunities that sometimes we don't have access to, or certain things that we don't get. But at the end of the day, we land just where God wants us to land. That is how you should map your life. See your end, then you'll be able to plan your beginning. If you want to be a lawyer and that's how you want to be, and that's how you want to live your life, what kind of lawyer do you want to be? What kind of project manager do you want to be? Is he working in construction? Is he working in the nonprofit sector? Is he working in tourism? What is it you want to do? What kind of family do you want to have? What kind of woman do you want to be? Who do you want people? What are some of the things you want people to say at your funeral? That is the end. So, because you've understood what you are at the end and the core of things, you're then able to plan, oh, okay, because this is what I hope to be at the end of it. These are some of the things I now have to start doing because you've seen where you want to be. You now start looking at, oh, okay, what are the kind of things I want to see? These are now the skills that will take me to that place. Not everybody can be a lawyer, not everybody can be a doctor, not everybody can be an accountant. Those skills that you have are now those things that would help you to be able to achieve those things. So you do something then called a skill audit. What are the skills you have? What are those things that naturally you can do? And then based on where you want to be in future, what are the skills you need to also get you there? So those are the things you also want to start learning. But every single person, every single one of you here, you have a skill. You have unique abilities that not every single person here has. Sometimes it's just about even looking good. Trust me, even looking good is a skill on its own. I think and I'm calling Taofi out a lot, but I know myself and Taofi, we have a WhatsApp group where we kind of like hold ourselves accountable and we're like, we want to learn how to make up because we don't know how to do makeup, right? And this is something that a lot of people are making money from making up in recent times. Like is a lot. I know even now I'm trying to get makeup because I want to do a photo shoot and I'm just looking at the price and I'm like, oh my God, this is a lot. I should have learned how to do this when I was growing up. So even looking good, knowing how to prep yourself to carry yourself is a skill in its own. So what are those things that you have? Is it makeup? Is it talking to people? Talking to people is such a skill. Is it leading people? Do you know how to convince people? That's negotiation right there. Do you know how to manage relationship with friends? When there's conflict, do you run away from the conflict or do you try to like settle? Do you try to have hard conversations? That's conflict resolutions. Like there are people who are actually paid a lot of money to be arbitrators, to be mediators. A lot of money in the legal field. So not everybody who reads law actually goes to court. Some of them are working in banks, some of them, and they are doing things that still tied a bit to law, but just in a different framework. So what are those skills that you have? Are you somebody who attends meeting like you're always the first to be there and you're waiting for every other person to come? That is a skill. That's time management. When you start things, do you finish them? Because sometimes we have so many things. You have plenty movies you're watching, you have books you are reading, you've not finished any single one of them. You being able to start something and finish it is a skill in its own. When problems come amongst your friends, are you the person everybody is running to help solve that problem? That is something that you want to start looking at. Like, oh, every time they're running to me to solve this problem, oh, that means I have problem solving skill right here. So by the time you've done those audits, you also then want to look at it from the what are the technical skills you have? What are the soft skills you have? What are some of the leadership qualities you have that you can list? And then you now start looking at, okay, I've looked at my skills. This is where I want to be. This is the thing I want to do in myself. Now, where are the opportunities? What platforms can I go to search for this? What opportunities are available to me? What mentorship programs I can align myself with? Who are the people that I can tag myself with to be like my accountability partner to say, I have 6 months to do this particular thing. Can you help me so that I do this? And then at the end of the day, what is your strategy? We have something called vision board. You have a vision board for yourself. This is where you want to be in the next 6 months or 1 year, right? But your vision board is not just about writing or putting those beautiful pictures about where you want to be. It's also how do you get to those places? For me to be able to have a car, what do I need to do to be able to have that car? For me to be able to learn how to make up, what are the things I need to do to be able to learn how to make up? If I want to get this certification, how many hours a day do I need to be reading or studying for me to be able to write these exams and pass it? I want to save so and so amount of money. How much do I need to be saving every day or every month to be able to get this money that I need to do this particular thing? That is your strategy. So you plan your strategy. If I get this in month 1, I get this in month 2, I get this in month 3. In month 4, I'm hoping to get this particular one. In month 5, I'm hoping to get this particular one. In month 6, I'm hoping to, and you're writing all the different ways that you should be able to get those things. Who are the people you need to be talking to? Those are all of the things that you need to do. And then you're looking at, when you come to who you are, the core of it, you're looking at, does this part also align with you? The reason why, when things get very hard at my job, and this one now comes to how I navigate like certain barriers, or because it's not like things have been very flawless for me, right? So many barriers, so many things have come in, very hard decisions to make, so many things. But every single time, the only thing that is so different for me is when I look at the things or where I am, the work that I do gives me joy. The work that I do gives me purpose. And so, because of that alone, things will happen and I will get over them. I'll find ways to navigate them. But I know at the end of it that this is what I want to accomplish. This is what I want to do because that part aligns with me. It's more difficult when you are doing something that you don't want to do at all. Like it does not align at all. So when it doesn't align, it makes you angry, it makes you depressed, it gets you frustrated. But you're doing something that at least aligns with your core to a certain point where no matter what happens, you're okay in a bit with that thing. And this ties to the why of what we do, the things we do. What is your why? Why did I start an organization? The why for the organization is the only thing that will keep the organization going. So when I become tired, when we're not getting funding, when so many things are not going the way that I envisioned it to go, is my why that will keep me going. This is the reason I started this thing. This is the why that I want to make this happen. Because the place that I'm in is not where I want to be in 10, 6 years from now. So I have to do this particular thing. So your why is some of the strongest thing that will drive you, that will bring that curiosity for you to give you that push that you need to assess what you need. So you see how all some of these things keep tying to each other. But your why is one of the most important questions that you want to ask yourself in your career path, in whatever it is you're doing, whatever field that you want to go to, whatever course that you're studying, whatever thing you want to navigate. What is the why? And then now, we want to try to make a connection to SDGs. Again, because in our present professional landscape, a lot of things that we're doing are all tied to SDGs, whether in your professional corporate jobs, whether in the development sector, particularly the development sector, there's nothing or no job you'll be doing that is not related to the SDGs. So all of the SDGs that we have, especially even if you're looking to maybe just study abroad for your master's degree and all of that, a lot of the courses that we have now, when you're making a case for why you want to study that course or why you want a scholarship, you have to link it to an SDG and to say that this is the work that you're doing back home. This is the community that you're serving because this, that, and because this helps this. People are able to see you from a different angle because you're going, whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be helping millions of other people. People don't want you to do something just for you alone. People don't want you to be able to support only yourself. They want you to do something that supports other people, that supports the world. And that is where your SDG comes in. For example, all of the work I do mostly tied to these 4 SDGs. SDG 4, which is quality education, because our nonprofit we sponsor girls back to school, try to pay their fees, get them, educate them, do sensitization programs and all of that. We also work around gender equality. So we're providing platform and spaces for young women and for girls to also have opportunities. We're investigating sexual exploitation in mostly internally displaced camp. So this is what my nonprofit does. And then I work for a nonprofit as well that is a survivor-led organization, basically working to end childhood sexual violence. So all of these things kind of like tie into SDG 5, which is gender equality, SDG 4, which is education. And then you have SDG 8, which is like decent work and improved economics, basically. So ensuring that women have better access, women are able to like get better pay. There's like you're closing the gender pay gap. That is SDG 8. And then SDG 3 is about health. So mental health, wellness, and all of that. So there are different SDGs. We have 17 SDGs, and we have justice as well if you're into law and any of that. You just need to find a link to base on the thing that you're particularly doing now. There's like space for creative industries. A lot of creative industries, a lot of people now, you see, I have a friend who used to be a shoemaker and he won a lot of grants with his shoemaking because he was using sustainable products to make the shoes that he was making. Would go for conferences, would go for incubation programs, and he was the only person always winning all of those monies because he was doing something around climate because he's using all those reusable materials to make shoes. So when you're in the creative industries as well, there are ways that you can link link all of these things back into SDGs and then put yourself out there in a way that people look at you different from other people. So when you're very strategic, you're able to already plan ahead because you don't want in 2, 3 years people will be like, but this thing you are doing, how does it help the future? How does it help the environment? How does it help these women in this particular community? How is it helping young girls go back to school or helping learning, improving any outcomes in particular? So you want to study more about the SDGs and then get them connected into what is the core of you? What is the thing that you're interested in? And then tie and link it back to where you want to be and some of the skills that you want to get. Now, this is my word again. This is something that I always use. I post it on my status, I post it everywhere. I always say, never let someone else be more interested in your future than you are. If you listen and read this well, you see that this again ties back to push, access, drive, and curiosity. If there are other people who are more interested in your future than you, they're always sending you the opportunities. They're always the ones reaching out to you. Have you done this? Have you done this? Give me updates. Like, it means that they are more interested in your future than you are. And what happens is one day that person is going to get tired of pushing you and they're going to leave you. So by the time they stop checking in on you, sending you opportunities, you feel like nobody cares about you. But the truth is, you're the one who doesn't care about yourself. So never let anyone even see it. Don't let anyone even imagine that they are more interested in your own future than you. Ensure that when you have access to being spaces that otherwise you would not even have, right? You're being thankful for those opportunities and you're using them well. When you become close to somebody that have given you access to their space, respect that space. Don't violate it. Don't feel like, oh, this person, I was seeing them here, but I now talk to them every day now. So what's there? Trust me, once you lose that, you're going to lose a lot of other things. So respect the spaces that you find yourself in. Ensure that you're pushing yourself. Ensure that those opportunities that you're getting, you're also using them very well. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for any question and then we'll go into the goal setting section. And then I think that'll be it for me.
Thank you so much, Ngunan. I was jotting so much from this. Good. Valerie, do we have any question? I don't think we. Oh yeah, we do actually. Um, said as women mapping their careers, what strategies help us move from simply breaking into spaces to actually reshaping those spaces to be equitable? Did you get my question, or should I repeat?
I got your question, and I don't know who asked this, but do you think everything I've said now has already answered the question that you have? Because we've already spoken about strategy and all of that.
Yeah, I think so as well. Honestly, the rest of the questions are more about courses where they could see course recommending websites, so would answer all of that later. I
Okay.
think you can just go ahead and perhaps speed
Um,
run through a lot of the things because we're actually
Okay,
way out of
yes, I
time.
will. Someone said, could you refresh what is why? So
I
why is the core of why you're doing what you're doing? Why do I want to be someone who is providing spaces for young girls? What is the reason that I want to do this? Why is my organization in existence? The reason why I started my organization was because a lot of girls were being given out in child marriage. A lot of girls my age at the time, I was 11 when my dad died. So at that time, people didn't feel like education was important and all of that. So people felt like I was too ambitious. I wanted too much for myself. And I wanted to create a space that girls will understand that being ambitious is actually the thing. You pushing for something that you wanted was important, especially for yourself. And if you wanted to have a say in a lot of things. I also felt like a lot of girls didn't have the spaces to actually openly speak about things that they were going through. And I wanted to create that space for them, whether be it in education, sexual exploitation at home, and so many things happening. So that was my why. So when funding don't come in, when so many things happen that are going wrong, I always just look at the end of the day, what do I want to gain from this? Why did this organization start? And I remember that why. Again, because, and this is why it's important in this instance, because a lot of time, again, funding comes into different things. Climate sometimes in a year will now have more funding than every other SDGs or any other thing. So there's this thing where we do where every single time we're running to where the money is. But by the time you remember your why, it keeps you grounded in that particular focus and the purpose that you have. So you're not running, if money is here today, that's not where you're running to. If money is there tomorrow, that's not where you're running to. Instead, you're retailing what you already have that propels your why to instead doing the thing that you need to do instead of running up and down. That helps you. And if you start learning about project management, you understand what is called scope, which kind of like defines what it is you want to do and what it is you don't want to do. So I hope that helps. I won't go into so many of these things again, but I've just put here that social media creates a certain pressure for us to see things a certain way. But the one thing that we don't understand about all of the things we see on social media is we don't understand the behind the scenes. So, like I was mentioning, somebody is getting 5 opportunities in a year. They've posted how they've traveled to New York, they've posted going to South Africa, they've posted going to Switzerland and all of these places. But the behind the scene is that this person have had a lot of sleepless nights. They've done 102 applications. They've gotten maybe 100 rejections and they got only 2. But those are behind the scenes that we don't see. So by the time we see people post things, traveling and all of that on social media, we feel like that is it all. Also, the other truth in this thing is sometimes people are posting those things just because they're in that place. They're also posting it to improve their own future career purposes. When people see that people are going for all of these things, it kind of like increases your chance for people to trust you that this person has sense and all of that. But in truth, it's not that when you go for all those opportunities, it's also bread and butter. It takes hard work. You're going to these conferences sometimes, you're having sleepless night, you're in long sections. Sometimes you even go to those places, you can't have your own time to actually tour, like privately to see what that place looks like. From that conference to the room, from the room to the conference, from there back to the airport. So in reality, these are what some of these conferences look like. So it's not always bread and butter. It takes a lot, and you're actually going there to learn. So if you're going for things because you just want to go for an opportunity and post about it, that is the wrong why. That is the wrong reason for you to go into something. So we'll just quickly do an exercise. I have very few slides for this exercise. And the first thing is, who am I at the core? So just one sentence. If you have your book or whatever it is, you can also put this in the chat. Just write who you are at the core. One sentence. Who are you at the core of things? And we have about 3 of some of these slides to go through. Very simple, simple. Don't think too much. If you think too much, it means you don't know yourself. So the first thing that pops out in your head, just write it down. And at the end, we can just have 1 or 2 persons just tell us who they are at the core. Somebody else tell us some of the things I would also talk about. So I'm hoping that we've already all written who we are at the core. The second is, my 3-year vision is, where do you want to be in 3 years' time? Again, just maybe a line. In 3 years' time, what is the one thing you want to accomplish in 3 years' time? You've written who you are at the core. You've written where you want to be or the thing that you want to accomplish in 3 years' time. What are the 3 skills you have now? 3 top skills that you have now. Just 3. And the final one is, what is one bold action I will take in the next 30 days? So you're connecting it to all these things you've written. Who you are at the core of things, where you or what you want to do in 3 years' time, your 3 skills, and in the next 30 days, what is one thing you want to do? Okay, time up. So while we're writing that, I just want to answer quickly a question of someone says, I have a problem with being consistent. What advice do you recommend to stay consistent? The one advice I recommend for you to stay consistent is to respect yourself. Be somebody who is reliable. Be somebody who says something and you actually do it, no matter how small or tired you are, no matter the mood that you're in. You want to be able to keep pushing and remembering your why. I have a lot of friends, and if you want to ask all of my friends, one of the things they'll say to you is, Ngunan has been consistent for years. I've been doing the same thing and I've done them in different ways, but I've stayed the course no matter how hard it's gotten because this is something that I really, really want at the end of the day. So me just having that why in my head about what it is that I want, I cannot lose face. The other thing for me is I feel like nobody should be more interested in my future than me. Nobody should be able to push me more than I'm pushing myself. So I try to be considerate to every single person around me and stay the course no matter how difficult it is. So once you're doing, no matter how little it is, you just make one small difference, you're going to be able to stay consistent. Once you do it 1 week, 2 weeks, you see that subsequently you get so used to it and you continue doing it. So for me, that's how I stay consistent. Okay, so can we have just two people? Oh, okay, I'm having some skills here already. So somebody said programming, technical skills, project design, problem solving, leadership, and communication. That's already project management there for you. If you know how to do project design, problem solving, leadership, and all of that. That's really, really good. Facilitation skills, that's a public speaker right there. Problem solving, good. Communication management, multitasking. Multitasking is not healthy, but it's such a valuable skill in the workspace. So again, people like to, you have like 10 different projects happening in 1 year. People want to see people do actually that. Just trying to see if there are other questions. In 3 years, I want my brand to be memorable as the digital brand to have trained hundreds of qualified marketers and strategists. And you know, when you're writing the thing you want to accomplish, your 3 year vision is you want to do it in a smart way. You want to write something that you know you can actually achieve. It's very good to be ambitious, but you also want to write something that you can track its progress. So when we say 3 years, you look at 3 years and you feel like 100 is even too small for 3 years. And at the end of the day, because I know I had the goal that I wanted to train about 200 girls for a particular time, and I've trained just about 50 something. And it's even past the number of years that I was hoping because I was very ambitious about it because so many things have to be in place for you to do some of those things. So you have to be very smart when you're setting your goals to in place. Don't put something that you feel is even outrageous for you to accomplish. So that's also very, very important. Then when you say in 3 years, I want to be an active community engagement officer working with women and girls, you then in 30 days time, you want to already start looking for what are the volunteering opportunities that I can get to do all of those things. You're applying for them. You can even go on Twitter and write that, oh, I'm looking to volunteer in an organization in this particular space. And then you see people can actually recommend you to some of those spaces. You need to put yourself out there. Free courses. I'm sure Taofi and team will share free courses for you because to be very honest, I hardly take all these short courses. Yes, so I think that is all for me. Taofi, I think I'll hand back to you now. And Valerie.
Thank you so much, Gunan. Honestly, something I know Gunan for as well is being consistent, excellent networker, and an interesting story. Yeah. So while I was back in Nigeria, I actually have been following Gunan for the past 3 years on Twitter. So when I moved to the UK, I saw the opportunity for one campaign. I applied and I was like, you know what? I'll make sure me and Gunan are friends. And I remember I didn't tell you that. And then when I went for this program, we just connected. And that's honestly the power of like networking, being strategic. I didn't just meet Gunan for like meeting's sake. I was strategic in leaving like a good impression with us and to date as well. So thank you so much, Gunan. I know it's been a busy week for you with South Africa program. So to come here and give this lovely presentation, well detailed one. Thank you so much. Can we all, I'm sure if it was Dee would like, can we all drop emojis, clapping emojis for Gunan to appreciate her as well? And does anyone have questions? I
Definitely,
know
please.
Gunan has addressed some of like the questions on the chat, but if you want to say something as well, just let me know. And I know we're way out of time. So yes, I just dropped Gunan's LinkedIn. So please follow Gunan on LinkedIn as well. She shares a lot of like wonderful opportunities and something about being consistent as well. I know SIF has been in establishment maybe 6, 7 years ago, and it's still going strong. So yes, that's Gunan for you. No questions, no one's raising hands.
Thank you so much, Selfie. Okay, someone had actually in the chat about getting overwhelmed. How maybe you want to solve problems, but you're getting overwhelmed easily, trying to get back on track, and then you're finding yourself and all of that, and then you're not working in the same space. Like that happens as well, and I've also personally experienced that. So I think having a community of friends or people that are very valuable that you can always talk to is so important because then you're encouraging each other. You have your accountability partner as well. And then for me, I listen to music a lot during those times, like gospel musics in particular. I listen to all this incantation music because like they bring me calm. And then I write a lot of what I'm feeling. And then I try to always tell myself that, oh, I can actually take a break and maybe it's God purpose for me to actually rethink, or maybe I'm doing too much or something. But I always try to go back to the drawing board. There was something I shared this year, for example. I was like, this year has been a difficult one, and so many things have happened in a way that they shouldn't have happened. And I actually dropped my vision board in like the first 3 months when we started the year already. So I have not looked at my vision board. I don't know what is there. But I know I've accomplished actually much more than I had on my vision board. But I wasn't looking at it because I was overwhelmed with so many other bad things that were happening. And that gets even the best of us, right? So when it happens, you just try to speak to yourself and still see the good in everything else that you can see. And no matter what happens, you're still the person that you are. You still have the skills that you have. You're still the core of who you are at the deepest part of you. So you can always still pick yourself back up, maybe not on the same level. Because for me, I feel like as I'm growing older, my energy is also reducing on how I was so energetic about so many things, rushing into things. I'm not that energetic about those things again. I can actually let go of so many things now, right? So I feel that also happens with age. So now in your youthfulness, this is the time, every opportunity you see, you start seeing that very soon, once you're 30, you cannot access anything. Then when you get to 35, it's even worse. So I always tell young people, at your core, as you're 20, you're 25, this is the best time for you to access opportunities. Every single opportunity you see, and I won't even lie to you, it's not because she's here. Like Taofi can say all these things, I can see the same for her. I've spoken to every single person I know, every young person. I've showed Taofiq as an example to every person because I don't think I've seen any young person like Taofiq do the things she's done and being at the level that she is. And this is again what I talk about privilege and access. The fact that you have access to her, that you're in the space where she's sharing all of these things, you should take it. She has access to a lot of opportunities she's going to be sharing with you. Hold her hand. If it's to review documents, she'll review. If like yeah, don't overwhelm her, but she will do a lot of things. But she's someone who is a go-getter and she's really, really young. And that's another thing. No matter what age you are, you should be able to make friends with younger people, with older people, because you're able to learn from each side. I don't know why you're laughing so hard. Is it Dazene? This thing I'm saying, like you're laughing very much about it. Is it connecting to something?
Desani, please speak. Desani is on the group as well. Desani is actually the co-founders for programs manager for Femme as well.
Oh,
So maybe
okay.
that's why she's
She
laughing.
can relate. She can
She can
relate.
relate.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And I'm so happy you were all so much on the call. We just again show that you really want to do great things. And I'm rooting for you and praying for all of you.
Thank you so much, Gunan. I'll hand over to Dee. Please say something as wrap up for Gunan.
Wow. I just wanted to say a big thank you to Gunan. It was an amazing, insightful session. I was listening in, and even when you said, let's write our goals, I did sit down to write who am I, what I'm working on, my 3-year goal, and it was very, very insightful. So as we come to the end of today's session, I want to encourage each and every one of us, just like Gunan said earlier, don't just go back and keep the notes. It will always be a note or an idea if you don't put it to work. It will always end in the realm of ideas. So don't forget what we spoke about last week. We spoke about audacity. While I was listening to Gunan speak, I could see audacity in almost every aspect of what she spoke about. So don't forget that this week we still have our task, our responsibilities, things that we're supposed to do, our LinkedIn optimization, and then there'll be new tasks that will be added this week. Also, I just shared the SDG playbooks. It explains how the SDG works in practical real life, even if you're hearing about the SDGs for the first time. Because as a global citizen, there's nothing you can do without the SDGs. So make sure that you take out time to study it and then you map out a plan. Taofi, I don't know if this is a good time to announce that we're going to be having our vision boarding session sometime. I think between January or the end of December. But we're going to be having our vision boarding session, and towards the end of the class
or the sessions. We're going to speak more about it, but get ready, get prepared. And it's not just, someone said, I have my vision board in the chat. I think I saw someone say that. I have my vision board, but I was not really able to follow through with it. And the truth is that the reason why sometimes we're not able to follow through with our vision board is because, just like Ngunan said, there are no actionable steps that are added. Vision boarding is good, but if you leave it at just pictorial or just the pictures, seeing what you want to do without any action step, you go into the next year still carrying over the that were in your vision board because you didn't take steps towards that. So I'm really excited about what's coming for each and every one of us. And just a reminder, please, let's not forget to follow Femme Circle, keep sharing your experiences on the group. Please, I noticed that some of us are sharing the link. Please don't share the link, because we've already had, this is the second session. If someone comes at this point, they will come into the group and be asking questions like, what are we doing here? I cannot see anything useful that is being done. Very funny questions, So please, we're not saying that there's going to be another cohort next year. And we want you to know that there will be another cohort next year. So we're already in the second week. Bringing them in now will not help them. It will not help them. They will be more confused and they will not be able to follow through with what we are already doing. So don't worry. Recommend them. Next year, we'll have them in the next cohort. But, Taufia actually wanted to mention that we have the resource group where all the resources are shared. So in case you miss anything on the group that has all the information, because there's lots of chats going on in the group, up and down and all of that, you can go to the resource group and find the information that you are looking for. Also, if you need answers to anything, someone to answer you quickly, send a message to @Diola. You can see her dropping information on the group. She'll be able to respond to you quickly and immediately. Now, if you want to shoot at Taufi or you want to shoot at me, that's okay. But I can't tell you that we'll be able to have the time to respond to you immediately because of all the many things that we juggle at the same time. But we'll do our best to answer as many as we can. So thank you, everyone. Again, we haven't taken the group pictures. So can I please ask you one more time? Let me see your gorgeous, beautiful faces. Let's turn on our camera so that we can take the pictures and we can share. Can we do that one more time? And again, thank you so much, Ngunan. This was such a blessing. I really enjoyed the session. Thank you. And please, everyone, go to LinkedIn, follow Ngunan, share how the session was a blessing. Because she did this for free. We could have been paying her for it. So, but this is so important that she, did this for us. So please go to her page, go and bombard her with thank yous, share what you learned in the session and all of that. All right, picture time. Who's taking screenshots? I saw someone take a picture. Please go on and do that. Yeah, let me pause.
I was just saying how Ngunan and Dezani looks really good. Dezani, Ngunan, I love your wig. Dezani, I love your go spectacle. Yeah, I'm the one looking. But anyway, I've taken so much pictures. Yeah, me see, were you able to take pictures as well from your end? But Davies, you had your hands up. Is it a question for Ngunan or just an observation, comments? Maybe you can put it on the chat or speak. I don't think I saw Sia again. Anyway, thank you so much. The rest of everything will be communicated on the group. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining. Also, this was recorded as well, so we'll share the recording on YouTube as well. Have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your Saturday. And we'll be sharing a career workbook as well. So yeah, BC would share that on the group. So thank you. Thank you,
I wanted to
Ngunan.
say something. Just 1 minute before we go. I don't know if anyone has been seeing Pira on the group. That's what we are talking about. The other everyone together. Well, for example, last week we were about, I think, 200 or less in the meeting last week. This week we're about 70 something in the group. I want to see you lead. If you want to be a thought leader, you cannot be the shy one. Speak up about things on the group. Make sure that it's not just posting your LinkedIn. Oh, follow me on LinkedIn. There's more you can do. Pick up conversations. And now, I don't know if at the end of the session we're going to have best participants, but if I was picking somebody right now, it would be Pira. And it's not for anything spectacular or because any of you lack the audacity. Is that she's the one that chose to put herself out there. Please put yourself out there more this week. You cannot want to do much. And that's why we're here. The purpose of this sessions that we're having for the next, we have gone 2 weeks. We only have 2 weeks to go, is to teach you how to step out, to not be the silent or the one that is not visible in a room. So this week, I want to see more of you. Taufy, when are we doing the, what's it called? The activism for gender-based violence. When is it supposed to be?
We can talk about it, but Yemisi is going to send a comms draft to the group. But yes, we're launching the 16 days of end violence against women and girls. It usually runs from November 25 to December 16. So the idea is there's a lot of representation here, especially across Africa as well. And there's so much going on in Nigeria, for example. There's kidnapping, there's rape. South Africa did Purple Walk yesterday to talk about the gender-based violence, and I think that's how it is everywhere. So with this platform as well, we want to be able to like speak on it. So if you can perhaps write articles, write a poem. So we want that to be on our website, and we're actually looking to do a story map as well, where there's like country representation, and when you click on, for example, Botswana, Mozambique, you're able to like, if you participate anyway, you're able to like see a story from Mozambique actually reporting on ending violence against women and girls, and it could be your personal story, it could be something you've seen in your community. We'll be sharing examples as well. So that's something we want to do. And like I said, if you Google your name, what do you see come out of it? So this is something that actually adds to you as well, and you could have as a track record of you working towards ending violence against women and girls. And that's also links to if you see an opportunity in that area and they ask you, what have you done in the past? You're able to say, oh, I once did a campaign for this and this with Femme Circle. And we can actually write recommendation letters as well to support that you actually did participate in that as well. And yes, I was going to say I agree with Dezani as well. When I came into this meeting this morning, I saw 19 people, and Pira, was one of the names as well. And I think I saw Chimwedo as well. And that's just it. Like, it's a 500 people group, and no matter how you twist it, there's still a way to stand out within the group. And it's not even just messaging me or Dezani or anything. It's just natural with the way we communicate, how you do things as well. So yes, we want to see people, we want people to be visible. I mean, from the last year cohorts, there are like 3 people Dezani and I still know to today. And what did they do differently? They were there. I think at some point they even wanted to volunteer for us. They were sharp. They would say they want to write articles. They were doing, like, it was so glaring. Like, everyone in the cohorts naturally knew them. So yes, and it's also like a practice as well for you. Like, how do you stand out? How do you step out within a large group of people? Because that's the person who stands out is actually the person who gets remembered the most as well. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm calling the meeting to a close, and thank you for sticking in. We started at 8 and we're currently at 60 now, so thank you for the extra time and bits. So enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Go do something fun, and bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.